vortex opened wide and blue, a swirling gate of light. The four of them were pulled inside, then vanished from the sight. They landed in a park so green, where flowers filled the air. The summer of love had never died, with peace beyond compare. Quinn Mallory, the boy who slid, looked round in pure surprise to see a world where Oliver North was seen through hippie eyes. The general was the president, the law was love and grace, a peaceful California vibe across each smiling face. The professor grumbled at the scene, his coat a dusty gray. He didn't trust the easy life or how they spent the day. But Wade was thrilled to see the peace, the colors bright and bold, a world where stories of the wars had never once been told. Rembrandt, the crying man himself, began to feel the groove, until the law came knocking down to make the travelers move. For even in a land of love, the rules were strictly set, and missing a required dance was something they'd regret. They found the timer's ticking clock was running down too fast. The beauty of the hippie world was never meant to last. The vortex hummed and swallowed them, a tunnel made of blue, to drop them in a darker place where skies were gray of hue. This world was silent as a tomb, the streets were paved with dread. A yellow haze hung in the air where living turned to dead. The fever world was cold and harsh, a city under guard, where every soul was tested deep and life was getting hard. The Q had spread through every vein, a sickness of the blood that washed across the human race like a destructive flood. They saw the men in plastic suits, the masks of hollow white, who dragged the sick from out their homes into the fading light. The sliders had no papers here, no health pass in their hand. In this, the most infected place within the broken land, the professor saw the science there, the tragedy of fate. The soldiers pushed the crowds away behind the iron gate. They took our Wade into the ward, a prison for the ill, where doctors worked with desperate hands and lacked the modern skill. Quinn raced across the empty streets to find the missing key, to save his friend from out the dark and set her spirit free. He found a double of himself, a man who lacked the spark, who worked within the pharmacy and stayed within the dark. This Quinn was cautious, quiet, cold, and feared the ruling law. He didn't want to see the things that Mary clearly saw. But Rembrandt found a way to lead, a voice that carried strong, to tell the people in the wars that they did not belong. The sliders were the carriers, or so the doctors thought, because they lacked the basic germs the world had always caught. The Q was just a simple flu from Quinn's own homeworld shore, but here it was, a killer germ that opened up death's door. They had to mix the remedy, the penicillin's light, to give the sick a fighting chance against the coming night. Arturo used his massive brain to guide the rebel hand, to heal the people suffering throughout the dying land. The guards were closing in on them, the sirens screamed aloud. shade was kept, her face was pale and thin, but they had brought the medicine to let the cure begin. The clock was down to seconds now, the light began to glow. The vortex formed within the room, and they were forced to go. They left the fever world behind, its future still in doubt. The miracle of sliding in, the terror sliding out. From hippie parks to hospital wards, the journey never ends. A cycle of the parallel for four unlikely friends. The script was followed line by line, the details kept in place. Across the multiverse of stars and every human face. The yellow tape, the peace sign flags, the red and white and blue. The stories that the fans recall and know are strictly true. The Oliver North who led the state, the cue that took the life. The sliders cutting through the dark like a surgeon's knife. No details fudged, no facts ignored, the rhythm keeps the beat. From the garden in the canyon to the cold and empty street. The A-Bay rhyme is set, the stanzas long and deep. A chronicle of sliding paths and promises to keep. The professor's wit, the crying man, the Wade with heart so wide, and Quinn who built the gateway for the very first great slide. One world was high on incense smoke, the other choked on breath. Between the summer of their lives and the winter of their death. But through it all the timer counts, the numbers never lie, as they jump toward another world beneath another sky. The script is closed, the story told, the 150 lines are done, reflecting every shadow.